आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH।
Welcome to a special program called Cricket Predictor. This is Ashala signing in from the heart of UAE, not very far off from the ICC headquarters. Well, we are joined by Paul Detet, we are joined by Anil Chri, the famous international cricketer, also Noel David will be joining us, Toss Rizvi, the famous cricket commentator. But more importantly, this program is called Cricket Predictor and it's sponsored by 1xBet. Well, today's match is all important, but take a step back and let's discuss how things panned out yesterday between the Kings 11 Punjab and one of the former title winners, Gujarat Titans. Welcome to the show, Paul. Well, it's nice to have you back on our show and give a very different perspective. Well, yesterday's match was not about who won or who lost, but more importantly, Shreyas Iyer, the skipper. Well, some say that he could have got his century, but he sacrificed. Do you also get a sense and feeling? And was that the difference between the win and the loss yesterday from a critical point of view?
Fantastic win for Punjab Kings and a great start to the Ricky Ponting era. Gee, it looked close at one stage though, and it says a lot about the extraordinary scores that we're seeing in the IPL. It's just building on what was the case last year. 243, the highest score in the franchise history. Imagine going back into the early years, you'd say that's guaranteed win. Don't even bother having the second innings. Well, Gujarat almost won. It got really close there towards the end. So I actually think it was really key, right in the final over of Punjab's innings, the fact that Shreyas Iyer, who deserved 100, stranded at the non-striker's end on 97 not out, went up to Shashank Singh and said, don't worry about my century, just hit as many boundaries as you can. And Shashank Singh proceeded to hit 23 off Siraj's last over and was probably the turning point or the difference in that the win and the loss. And it's interesting, I think, in the way that as an Australian versus the way that Indians consume cricket and support cricket, I don't think it was a strange thing that he did at all or an unusual thing that Shreyas Iyer did at all. But looking at all the comments and all the discussion on social media, it really was a big thing, I think, for him to be happy to not score that 100. So great leadership from him. And as I said, a big win for Punjab.
Well, that was a very interesting point that we discussed. But more importantly, moving on to yesterday's match, just one last quick comment of yours about how things rapidly changed. I mean, one team was dominant majority point of the time, but suddenly they didn't end up being the winners. What is your take on this?
It's very interesting if you look back at the win predictor for the entire night. Punjab were a greater than 50% chance for the whole match, except for one short space of time when Gujarat needed 75 from 36. The previous over, Marcus Stoinis had been taken down. Rutherford had come in as the impact player. It looked like that Butler and Rutherford were going to win it for Gujarat. And speaking of impact players, Vijay Kumar Vaishak came on, and with the ball, there was due a high pressure situation, and he just kept on nailing those kind of wide Yorkers, and he took the game away from them. It was really remarkable how they went from this is going to be a win for Gujarat to, in the end, not getting the job done, not even getting bowled out. It was just that they ran out of juice, and I think that was a really clutch performance. It's not going to get the headlines, but I think that was the real turning point in the whole match.
Well, we are also joined by one of the most internationally acclaimed and India's pride in umpiring, Mr. Anil Chri, a man who's played in his younger days as an off-spinner, and now he's in a different capacity altogether as a commentator that you hear him on IPL. But more importantly, Anil, this is a very different program. This is called Cricket Predictor, and we talk about stats. We don't set the narrative. We don't create any in a kind of a narrative or any dialogue. What we do is put some data and talk about it. Well, one important name that comes to our mind is someone called Detet Patikal. I mean, do you think the kind of performance that he should have given, has he lived up to his expectations?
I think Padikkar has to perform as per his data and strike rate, because strike rate is more than 100, 112.67, but he has not performed according to his data, so he needs to perform in that.
Anil, there seems to be some different new breed of bowlers, especially emerging from Asia. One of them is Pathirana. What do you think of him? We've seen him very closely at the ILT20. He was bowling in really quick, fast, effective. We spoke to him as well. But what do you make up of his overall performance?
If we talk about better bowling attack with data and all, I think Pathirana and Nathan Ellis has better record compared to Yash Dayal. Yash Dayal is very expensive as per the record. So that is another fact.
3, 2, 1. Question number 3, Anil.
Anil, before we let you go for your commentary stint, let me just ask you very quickly. In a couple of days, there'll be a big matchup between RCB and CSK. Who do you think is going to have a large impact? The impact of MS Dhoni or Salt? What is your understanding of it?
If we discuss about who has a better strike rate against pace, I think Salt is much better than Dhoni, because Dhoni comes very late, so he will come for maximum 2 overs. So Salt can have more impact on the game compared to Dhoni as a batter. But overall, Dhoni is a very important factor for CSK as far as guiding the team and excellent keeping. But only in batting, I think Salt is much more important for RCB.
We're also joined in the program as we move along. We're joined by Noel David, one of the most electrifying players in the late 90s and now a successful coach at the domestic level. Noel, welcome to the show. Just wanted to understand the performance where the top team we are talking about, CSK, and something which is even a bigger team in terms of the fan adulation, the boisterous crowd, and everything put together. Yes, it's RCB that we're talking about. Just take us through what is the difference between the two teams overall.
Clearly, it is RCB. They have power hitters in all phases. With Phil Salt with 233 runs as the strike rate, captain himself Patedar with 207 as the strike rate, and Livingstone with 204 as the strike rate. But we all know how CSK is with their consistency performance, which make them the great contenders.
3, 2, 1. Question 2, Noel Davis.
No, we've understood how teams win the matches and win the championship. Just for the fans, help us understand who's going to be this year's critical player for CSK. Because remember, they're coming with the tag of Dhoni's final swan song. They are hungry for a title, yet another title, as I would say. What is your understanding of the critical player for CSK?
Ruturaj Gaikwad provides strong stability at the top of the order, and ensures CSK gets off to a flying start with an average of 50.71.
Well, we've discussed about the winning mentality, the winning attitude, and CSK's regimental program when they approach not only the IPL but also the practice games. Well, it's almost fair that we talk about the winners, but at the same time, the team that hasn't won anything in the last 17 years, yes, RCB. Who do you think is going to be an important standout performance for this year in the IPL edition?
Phil Salt, as he brings in, what I can say is power hitting during the power play with an aggressive batting with an average of 165 as the strike rate, which clearly makes him, the power play hitter and the dominance in RCB.
Well, welcome to the show. The show is called Cricket Predictor. I'm Sunil Ashkala. We're joined by Toss Rizvi, one of the best brains in the cricketing journalism. He's joining us. Toss, it's always important to talk about how things have panned out, which team goes in with their stronger part. What do you make up of these two teams which will clash in the next 2 days, CSK and RCB?
So I think between RCB and CSK, it's mostly the Chennai Super Kings. Of course, they have the best of their spinners, R. Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja. The combination, the successful combination of Test cricket is back in T20 cricket, and who can debate over it? Unarguably one of the best pairs of spin bowling, R. Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja. Definitely they'll make a huge impact. Then you have Noor Ahmed, who did a great job with his Chinaman in the last game. He was one of the main guys who have helped Chennai win their previous game. But then let's talk about the batting. We know what Shivam Dube can do in the middle overs. Definitely he's got that long stride and he can hit anywhere in the park. You just name it and he'll put it into the stands. He's definitely one of the players with a big strike rate of 153. But then you can also count in Rituraj Gaikwad, the captain of Chennai Super Kings. He's fantastic. The way he played in the last game, from the top order, facing the seamers to playing the middle overs, definitely he's somebody who can make a big impact in the middle overs, especially against the spinners. He's got the good strike rate of 151 plus, which makes a lot of difference in T20 cricket. So I think it's Chennai Super Kings.
We're also joined by famous Indian writer and sports journalist Toss Risley. Toss, welcome to the show, and quickly getting on to the strongest team of IPL, which is CSK, and the weakest team perhaps, the RCB. What do you think is the difference and where do they struggle amongst the two?
I think both teams have fantastic players, exciting talents, but then when it comes to all-rounders, they don't have many. So if you can count on them on fingers. For Chennai Super Kings, it's Sam Curran. I mean, he was part of Chennai Super Kings before, and he's doing his job. What he exactly did when Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the captain, then demanded from him, and he did it in the first game. Before that, after that, he went to Kings 11 Punjab, or rather Punjab Kings, before coming back, before doing his Ghar Wapsi to Chennai Super Kings. Again, from RCB side, considering both teams have some exciting talents, RCB too has an all-rounder coming from England. Again, Sam Curran belongs to England. He plays for England definitely, and Liam Livingstone, his teammate from England, will also be one of the guys to watch out for. As an all-rounder, comes up with those off spins and then hits long with that long handle, being a tall guy. So these two guys will play an important role when it comes to all-rounders. These guys are to watch out for. So for Chennai Super Kings, it's definitely Sam Curran. For RCB, Liam Livingstone. It's going to be a one good contest between the two.
3, 2, 1, toss 10.
Thus, when you look at both the teams on the paper, they are almost the same, but yet the winnability factor is largely predominant in CSK. What do you think is the balance and shift of power between the two teams? Of course, we're talking about CSK and RCB.
I think both teams have fantastic players, exciting talents, but then when it comes to all-rounders, they don't have many. So if you can count on them on fingers. For Chennai Super Kings, it's Sam Curran. I mean, he was part of Chennai Super Kings before, and he's doing his job. What he exactly did when Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the captain, then demanded from him, and he did it in the first game. Before that, after that, he went to Kings 11 Punjab, or rather Punjab Kings, before coming back, before doing his Ghar Wapsi to Chennai Super Kings. Again, from RCB side, considering both teams have some exciting talents, RCB too has an all-rounder coming from England. Again, Sam Curran belongs to England. He plays for England definitely, and Liam Livingstone, his teammate from England, will also be one of the guys to watch out for. As an all-rounder, comes up with those off spins and then hits long with that long handle, being a tall guy. So these two guys will play an important role when it comes to all-rounders. These guys are to watch out for. So for Chennai Super Kings, it's definitely Sam Curran. For RCB, Liam Livingstone. It's going to be a one good contest between the two.